The San Francisco 49ers got embarrassed at home against the Arizona Cardinals and their loss 23-24. 49ers fall 0-2 in the NFC West. Is it time to panic? I don't know, but I tell you what, we're gonna get down to it. We're gonna recap this. We're gonna recap the game. We'll go over some grades. We'll go over some scenarios, and we got to figure out how we're going to get past this loss. Whatever it is, we got to do it right after this. What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy, the Wayne Breezy. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Wayne Breezy Show. It's always a therapeutic type of day, win or lose. So I just want you to know that I appreciate you and you. This goes out to you and you. I always wanted to do that. Shout out to Big. Rest in peace, B.I.G. But seriously, it is what it is. Now, listen, my voice is under the weather. I'm going to do my best to not scream. And I'm going to open up the phone line, so what to say, a little bit later on in the show. But I tell you what, man, I do appreciate you guys for being here. Last night was crazy. If you guys didn't get a chance, 49ers, man, they just found a way. Like the 49ers found a way to lose that game. They did. They absolutely found a way to lose the game, 23-24. I think what was most shocking for me was having a 13-point lead at the half and not being able to build on the 13-point lead. And I don't think I ever appreciated as much as I had to appreciate like having a kicker. I don't care who the kicker is. I never realized how much your kicker is needed. You want your offense to be able to dominate. You want your offense to be able to go down there and score at will. You get into the red zone, you want the offense to be able to punch it in. We could chalk that up to play calling, executing, good defense, whatever. It's all three, right? Mistakes. It's all four. Now that I think about it, so you could chalk it up. Each piece probably gets a quarter. You got to say, all right, man, you get down to the red zone. All right, team's defense is going to be probably a little bit better. It's not a lot of space, right? Can't make the mistakes. Can't get penalties, right? Play calling needs to be a little bit more, I would say, exotic. Find a way, be creative down there if you can. And then it's just executing. So whatever. Stuff just didn't go 49ers way, especially in the second half. I just feel like the Niners just didn't have, what it took to pull out another gritty game. I don't know why the Niners can't win gritty games. I don't know if that's coaching, meaning as far as the coaching style. I don't know if it's because they're just they're a different team. They got a different set of players. But whatever it is, it's almost like you don't want the Niners to be in a game where it comes down to having to win a gritty game. Now, it's unfortunate that they didn't have a piece. They lost a piece of that can help win grit. Your kicker. Like it sucked, and I don't want people to feel like, oh, well, I'm relying on the kicker and blaming it on the kicker. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying not having that piece changes a lot. It changes a lot on the opposing team because now the opposing team can tee off a little bit differently. They know you don't got a kicker. You're gonna go for it on all four downs, unless you got a punt. You know what I'm saying? So like it just changes. So now as a play caller, you gotta try to dial it in and call different plays. I'm just gonna chalk it up to this. You could call me a hater. I really don't feel that the Arizona Cardinals were the better team. Like, I don't get it. You call me whatever you want. This is the day you could talk trash about me. I ain't gonna clap back. I don't got the voice. I just really feel like the Niners lost another game. Now, If you're an Arizona Cardinal fan watching this, y'all won. That's it. So you're gonna get from me. That's it. You did. That's it. You won. But as a 49er fan, I'm like, how? How do we lose? And I think for me, that's kind of like my whole perspective on this season. Like 2-3, not playing to the expectations that I thought we were, but maybe we aren't who I thought we were. Maybe we're a different team and we're struggling to find the identity. I've been talking to you out there about this team and their identity for 5 weeks, and no one seems to understand what I'm talking about. Yet, the players, now the players. See, I'm not posting presser clips anymore. I'm not doing any of that. I don't know what got me flagged on YouTube or whatever. Speaking of being on YouTube, make sure you guys like this joint. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time watching, make sure you subscribe. All right. Turn your alerts to all so that way you don't miss any of the shows. This is a short week, so I'm going to be pumping out these shows left and right. So make sure that's on. But now the players coming out feeling like they can't figure out what their identity is. It's clear. It's super clear. Are we a run team? Are we a bully team? Are we a pass team? Are we a play action team? What is the identity of the San Francisco 49ers? Mm-mm. And the good news is this. And I know people don't want to hear good news. I know people don't want to know about the bright side. You can soak in the loss all you want. All I know is in 4 days, like 3 days after today, we need to win. Right? So soak in it, cool. Be my guest. All I know is we need to figure out how to win this next game. And then when we win that game, we need to figure out how to win the game after that. And maybe that's what this team is. They're a team that just has to figure certain things out as they go along. You know what's that saying? Like like kind of like take it like one game at a time. Remember that last year? Remember that mantra last year? Remember Fred Warner, who didn't play particularly well in this game? Remember Fred Warner last year said, "Yo, it's just one game at a time" or something. I can't remember what the exact saying was. They need to get back to that. They don't overlook any team, and perhaps they'll find ways to win the gritty games. Find ways to win the gritty games. Now, I know people are going to look at stats and people are going to look at certain things and be like, "Hey, we should have did this, we should have did that." I get it. The Niners identity used to be bully and run the ball, and for some reason I don't know if that mentality has changed because of this injury to Christian McCaffrey, and Kyle Shanahan's like, I only really got one good back. I don't want to seem like I'm overworking a Jordan Mason or things like that. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know the philosophy behind what's going on. If I can give our head coach any advice, just any advice, if I can give him, if I can give the advice, but if I can hope that he would listen to any of the advice, being that football is about statistics and numbers, I really would hope that Kyle Shanahan, and this is my only really negative connotation toward our head coach. Other than that, I'm good. I really wish he would pay attention to how poor teams are and stopping the run and get back to that. I'm going to run the ball. Now, I'm starting to think a little different because I know as a 49er faithful fan, content creator, whatever, we've seen our coach do that. Now I'm starting to question, did he only do that because he lost faith and trust in the quarterback at the time? Clearly, Kyle has faith and trust in Brock Purdy. That's why he allows him to throw the ball. But you saw that Kyle Shanahan would take the ball out of the quarterback's hands and find a way to run it. And so, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's too early to enforce the running. I think losing Elijah Mitchell for the season changed stuff up. I think not knowing the status of Christian McCaffrey changed stuff up. And now it's like, oh my gosh, my third string is my first string back. And then after that, it falls off. And so, like, drastically too, right? Because no one likes Isaac Garendo. He's a rookie. For some reason, we don't even know what Patrick Taylor Jr. can do, but everybody wants to see him because we haven't seen him, and then he probably won't be well. And then people be like, oh, he's trash. Like, there's reasons why he's not playing. I just want people to understand that. He doesn't provide the same explosiveness as some of these other guys that they have on the roster. I think when you put Isaac Garendo there, you're hoping everybody blocks and he gets an explosive run down the road. That's what I'm thinking. But I wish Kyle would get to the point to where I'm not taking the ball out of my quarterback's hands, but if they can't stop the run, then we just got to continue to run the ball. And I think when I was watching this game, and I watched it again, so I watched the game twice. I watched the game live. I take my notes. I do the shows. And then I watch the game before I go to bed. And then I say to myself, well, I don't know if people really watched the game, but we did run the ball. We did. We ran the ball and it wasn't successful a lot. 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, 7 yards. Then there was an occasional explosive run, which to me skews the numbers up a lot for Jordan Mason. Like, he had a 34-yard run, a big run here. So, yeah, average-wise, because he only had, how many carries did Jordan Mason have in this game? Which, hold on, let me make sure I get the right. He only had, so Jordan Mason carried the ball 14 times and averaged 6.4 yards. That's kind of like at his number. That's kind of like where Kyle wants Mason to be. I would say 15 to 25 in that range. I don't know why Jordan Mason isn't considered or labeled or treated as the bell cow, but the only thing I can think, and I could be wrong, this is my thought, nobody else's thought, is that Kyle ain't trying to overuse him. It's the only thing. And so that's why you mix in, you put the rookie in there. For people that crapped on Isaac Garendo, this dude had 5 carries for 22 yards. If you do the math, that's 4.4 yards. He finally got to that number that Kyle looks for, that 4 yards or more per carry. Like, got to give him a little hand clap or something. Like, he's progressing. Kyle isn't taking the ball, so he's trying to find ways. So, listen, total, they ran the ball 26 times. The number was 25. That's how you beat this team. If I go back and if you watch some of the old shows when I did the how to beat this team, I think it was in the Keys to Victory. You get to that 25 number. They got to 26, but they didn't. There was just factors in this game that just made the 49ers be like, turnovers, right? Turnovers. So look, what's Kyle going to do moving forward? I really think Kyle's going to have to find a way to look into the mirror and be like, all right, man, all right, this ain't who we are. This isn't who we are. This isn't a reflection of who we are, but we're going to be all right. I think that's what I would love to hear from Kyle Shanahan. I already know he's not going to take accountability for anything. I don't know why people keep saying Kyle Shanahan needs to take accountability. He's not. It's not what he does. Not who he is. I'm at this point. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I think Kyle Shanahan just has to find new, innovative ways to make the offense fun and not so telling. I really think I really am starting to believe that the defenses are knowing the plays at this point. And I don't think it matters. It wouldn't matter who's out there. I really don't. I don't think it matters if Christian McCaffrey was out there. They would still know the plays. The question is, could they execute their defense? And I think that's the thing. We're watching these defenses who struggle have perfect, like, great execution against a 49ers offense that we're not used to seeing. We're not used to seeing. I thought the play calling overall was damn good. I mean, we were moving the ball. Like, I don't know how better the play calling got to be to move the ball. I really think when it came down to it, just thinking about this game, just rewatching the game, like executing, man, like execution is crucial. And unfortunately, when you're playing in a fight night game, excuse me, and you're playing in a fight night game where it's just blow for blow or whatever, at some point in the game, it became blow for blow. Let's keep it a buck. Like you got to figure out how to be innovative and creative. And I think that right there is where I don't know if Kyle's lacking that or just not pulling it out yet. So look, so many factors to how the Niners might have lost this game. Um, I'm gonna come out on a limb and say everybody right. If you say it's coaching, it's the coaching. If you say it's play calling, it's the play calling. If you say it's turnovers, it's the turnovers. That's just letting me know that your perspective, my perspective, your perspective, his perspective, her perspective, they all right. We just got to put them all together. That's how we're losing. Injuries, factor it in too. Adversity, bring it on in. It's so many different factors. I think the real question for me is how do we overcome it? And it starts by suiting up and being ready to go on Thursday night for Thursday night football against the Seattle Seahawks. The Niners will be on the road wearing their throwback away jerseys. So I'm excited. Now, listen, the team's going to look a little different, guys. It's going to look a little different. We know in this game, the Niners blew a 13-point lead. We know in this game that we lost a kicker. So the good news is the 49ers are working out some kickers, and I believe they got 4 kickers that they're working out. If I'm not mistaken, is that what the update is saying? I'm sorry, man. I had a rough morning. My car is trash. Like I had to go to the gym. That sucked. Like everything is just crazy. I hate losing because I feel like I can't really get into gear. But I'm here with you guys. Also, if you want to support the stream, the channel, you can support by donating to the Cash App or the Venmo or the PayPal. It's right there down there. So check it out, man. $ TWBN for Cash App because they use the $, and then the @ symbol for Venmo or PayPal. You know what I'm saying? So please go ahead and support the channel, donate. We can't do super chats here anymore. The monetization has been canceled. So if you want to help out, you can. If you don't, I still love you nonetheless. But thank you for those that do, and thank you for those that don't. Look, all I know is like the San Francisco 49ers, they got some soul searching to do after this loss. And I respect everybody's take. I respect the players. I'm not trying to throw no shade, but the opportunities were there and we couldn't capitalize off of them. And to me, that's the biggest issue. Defensively, all right, let me just go through all the phases, and then I'll get to some grades, and then we'll go through some updates, and then I'll open up the phone. Literally, offensively, they weren't in a rhythm at all, and I don't know how this team can win games if they're not in a rhythm. The offense is a rhythm-based offense. One play leads to 10 plays down the road. Maybe we're attempting too many. Maybe we're attempting too many explosive plays or attempts for explosive plays, opposed to just getting into a rhythm. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe trying to push the ball down the field is the issue, and instead of allowing it to happen naturally. I really feel that could be the issue. Is that coaching? Yeah, or I don't know. It could be part coaching because I know in Kyle Shanahan's offense, there's at least 4 options, right? Now, does Brock want to take the number 1 option, the main option? Absolutely. But I just don't feel like we need to force things. I think the offense needs to get back into being into a rhythm. They need a perfect balance ratio between run and pass. The first series was terrible. It was pass. But we've seen that before. We've seen that before because I guarantee you that series will set the Niners up later down the road for teams to not be ready for the run, right? Like, so I'm telling you, like, it's weird. Unsuccessful on the first series. Defense gave up the touchdown on their first series. We'll get to the defense in a second. But offensively, lack of rhythm, lack of energy, lack of explosiveness, lack of just a bunch of lack. I think the offense lacked. I know the offense lacked. You can't tell me that the offense didn't lack. Offense only scored one touchdown. That's lacking. They got to the red zone 6 times and got it in once. Mistakes and just lack. I don't know how you lack at home. Maybe they shouldn't have wore those uniforms. Maybe they should have came out hot as in all red and gold. Don't know. Bet you they won't wear that combination ever again. I bet you they won't. So the offense lacked. It lacked creativity. It lacked everything. I tell you what, the vibe of the offense was off. Now, did we see some spectacular plays? Yo, I ain't gonna sit here and act like Brandon Ayuk didn't have a motherfucking field day. That I'm not gonna do. Brandon Ayuk was the man. Finally, he was able to take advantage of a weak ass defense, in my opinion. The way that they played him was so that he could run underneath routes. He had nothing explosive down the field. Everything was what he caught and made after the catch. So the yak was back, Ayuk was back, and I maybe when their defense adjusted a little bit to Brandon Ayuk is when we started forcing things. I'm just saying like that, like the Niners, they were they gotta always continue to play with the rhythm. They gotta find a way to continue to play in rhythm. And when they don't, that's when the mistakes happen. In my opinion, that's when the mistakes happen. So I do want to put out, listen, Ayuk did his thing. He had 8 receptions. He had 12 targets, but not every target. Some were throwaways. I would say 2 were throwaways. I'm not sure if he had any drops in this game, but 147 yards. Dude was averaging 18.4 yards per reception. He had the long for 53. So he that was that catch he had, and he ran. He got the yak and stuff like that. So that was an explosive play. But my point is, like, it was working until it wasn't. And then when it wasn't working, we needed to figure out another way. So Ayuk had a good game. I thought Kittle had a couple drops, but again, he had 12 targets. He finished with 64 yards. He also had the only offensive touchdown. We couldn't run it in, and we couldn't get it in. The Niners really struggled in the red zone. It's almost like, hey, don't get to the red zone, catch the ball and try to score from that. Because once we get to the red zone, the offense gets stagnant. The offense lacks creativity, and the defense knows the 49ers are going to struggle in the red zone. That's where you guys be like, oh, it's the coach's fault, blah, 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 blah. But you can't blame the coach if on first and goal, it's a penalty. Now it's first long and gold, right? There's no more first. You can't get a first down if it's first and goal, right? You got to get a touchdown still, but now it's longer. Then teams are like, oh, well, how are they going to get first half of these yards back? Well, got to throw the ball, try to run the ball, got to throw the ball. We run the ball, we get 2 yards. Now it's second and long. It's just weird. It's super weird. Super weird. So offensively was mid. If you guys had to give the offense a grade, real quick, offensive grade, what would you give the offense? I'm going to get into grades next. We'll go over some of the news and stuff after the grades. But offensively, put your grades in there. For me, I thought the offense played like C minus. I think C minus. I thought execution was poor. I thought the lack of play was poor. I just thought the offensive lacked. So it's a C minus for me. D minus from Cook Sports. Manly gave it a solid C. Don't bother me, solid C. Matthew, bleeding red and gold, C minus. Baracus, D. I feel like we're all in the same category, right? I don't know if I would give it an F because they still produced. They just couldn't score. I feel like since they were able to produce, and I'm not, Nick, I'm not going against your grade, bro. I'm just telling you why I wouldn't have gave it an F. They were able to produce. They just couldn't close out and get the points. And so production alone keeps them from having an F. For me, Delvin gave it a D, D minus from a man Drew. Sonia says offense gets a C because of the second half. That's totally fine. Nah. You're not grumpy. Nobody's grumpy, man. Everybody's good. Everybody's beautiful. everybody's love. It's okay to be upset and angry. Our team just lost. Our team got embarrassed. Pay attention to the title. That was embarrassment. I'm not mad. Don't be mad. You could be, matter of fact, you could be mad. You could be grumpy. You could be whatever it is you want. At the end of the day, the team struggled. Now, defense. Let's flip the script real quick, man. I got like 5 minutes, right, before I change some stuff. Defense. Now, I thought the defense, like overall, grade wise, I felt like they were good. You get the interception from Nick Bosa, you get the turnovers, you get the one turnover that you need, right? And I thought defense overall was solid until the second half. It's like we had a difference of two halves for both sides, offense and defense. But focusing just on the defense, the issue for me with the defense was one thing. One thing. Defense, we're not giving half grades. We're giving full game grades. Defense, though, in my opinion, like whatever happened to them, it was like they had a bad batch of water with ice. Maybe there was no ice. Maybe they needed more ice. Maybe, I don't know. But after the half, like that defense, I thought the defense came out great at halftime. Why did I think that? For one, they forced the 3-and-out. So they forced the punt. Then there was a turnover, right? But my point is, that was when the defense had their backs against the wall and stuff started to shift. And so, like, they couldn't tackle. Yo, this defense had 12 missed tackles. Baracus is already in my notes. Baracus, yo, I'm going to give you the bell for just being in my notes, right? Because I have notes. I do notes. Missed tackles. 12 missed tackles. 12 missed tackles. You want to know how to lose a game? And you could blame the offense because the defense was out on the football field. I'm sorry. I didn't know that the offense made the defense miss tackles. I don't care if you're tired. You wrap and tackle. This ain't no arm. You can't put an arm around James Conner. And here's the thing. They know that. I don't got to put out a keys to victory video or threats video and explain, hey, don't let him set the tone. The Niners defense set the tone. The Niners defense didn't sustain the tone. Now I got a whole new perspective on tone setting. And so now you got to sustain it. The Niners defense couldn't sustain the tone. I'm not blaming it on the weather. I'm blaming it on lack of fun, the mother-loving freaking mentals. Tackling, that's what we're doing. We're going to miss tackles. So defensively, they get a D. They get a D for the defense. Why? Because the one thing you got to be able to do is tackle. You're on defense. Offense, got to score points. Defense, got to tackle. Offense scores. Defense keeps other teams from scoring. This defense they couldn't do both. They couldn't keep them from scoring, and they were missing tackles. And at least if they're making tackles and they're scoring, at least they're making the tackles. Now, I thought the defense did good on that. I thought this was the first time I will give the defense credit on third down. Cardinals only completed 3 third downs. They had 10 tries. They only made 3 of them. Third down defense was great. Third down defense finished good. It was just explosives that they gave up this time. They weren't ready for the read option. They were tricked on the read option. They weren't prepared. Is that coaching? Is that Nick Sorensen not having his team prepared? There's so many different angles you can take. You can blame. But defense, D. Where y'all at with the defensive grade? You probably already gave them. I apologize. If I missed it, I was in my little soliloquy. So I given the defense a D. What are you guys giving the defense? I'm just curious to know what you guys felt. I just think that the defense just has to be better. I thought the red zone defense was good. They only gave up 1 touchdown in the red zone. Kylie's saying F. I guess I'm being generous, giving them a D. or whatnot. C minus, F. You guys are on the money. You guys are on the money. Cook Sports is giving, and this is probably why they get a D from me, because I thought Nick Bosa played well. I thought Deommodore Lenoir played decent enough on defense. You know what I mean? Like, I it's so weird. Yo, stupid weird. Stupid weird. This game was stupid weird. Stupid weird. Um I do want to talk about special teams really quick. Like really quick, like special teams. I thought special teams they finally made a play. Okay, special teams made a play. You get the block from, I'm calling him Jordan Jumbo Elliott. I know that's not his name. I know we have a Jumbo Elliott. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean, but he's big dude. So Jordan Elliott gets the block. Demo picks it up, and we get the touchdown. That was a big thing right there for the San Francisco 49ers. Like, that was huge for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to give the defense, I'm going to give special teams, like, as far as grading, feel like they were in the C range too, because right on the next play, very next play, I don't know who blew the assignment. I ain't watched the film yet. Whoever missed their lane, whoever missed whatever, forced Jake Moody to step up, make a tackle, and next thing you know, he gets all twisted up with the ankle, and now he out of the game. So, like, it'd be weird stuff. Like, it'd be weird. The weirdest stuff is happening to the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm hoping that it's happening now opposed to later. I'm hoping that it's happening now opposed to freaking later. Because get it out of the way now. Please get it out of the way now. Please, 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 please get it out of the way now. Before we get into the grades, let's go over some of the news. We got some injuries. We do know that the Niners are working out 4 kickers. I remember a former Denver Broncos kicker on that list. I think his name is Brandon McManus. They better get somebody in here. They better get somebody in here who's going to be super duper legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's important. All right, like super duper legit, that could keep them afloat, or whatnot. But whoever it is, they need to be able to come in here and kick. I'm not sure how long Jake Moody's going to be out, but he's going to be out for probably a significant amount of time. I would probably say minimum of 4 weeks. That's just my thought. So Moody's out. Who else got hurt in the game? Don't know the status on Talanoa Hufanga, who had a wrist injury, but he got taken out of the game. He didn't return back to the game. So we'll see what's going to go on for that. George Odom, Malik Mustafa had to, kind of like fill in or whatever. Drew, I'm with you, man. If we can get McManus, because I think the Niners are going to have to continue to kick long field goals. All right. They better get the guy that could kick long field goals. Demetrius Flanagan Files. Thank you, Jason. Is probably listed as doubtful as still and is not going to play. The other guys that were injured are listed day to day. So we'll see what happens. Tig did get hurt, but he did return. He had some great tackles. We're talking about Jair Brown, so he has some great tackles, or whatnot. But look, got to find a way to move on to the next game. And I think that's what's super duper important for the San Francisco 49ers. They can kind of watch the film, dwell on what they did wrong, learn from their mistakes, and figure out a way to move on. Also, the practice window for first round draft pick Ricky Pearsall, they're not going to open it. They're going to continue to allow him to rehab per the team, per Kyle Shanahan. So you won't be seeing Ricky Pearsall back anytime soon, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to open that window. Jacob Cowan, the 4th round draft pick wide receiver, is listed day to day as well. I expect him to return. Hopefully he'll probably return. And Yetur Gross Matos, they gave an update. I believe he's going to be having had his surgery. He's going to be out between 4 to 8 weeks. So he's probably going to be done until, depending on will they bring him back. Like we can't make this stuff up. Like, the stuff that's happening, you literally can't make it up. Like you can't make it up. But this is called adversity, ladies and gents, and the Niners just got to figure out a way to overcome it. Like they just got to figure out a way to overcome the adversity. I want to go over some of these PFF grades for a few minutes, if you don't mind. It's PFF time. It's grade report time. I put out the grades on X or Twitter, whatever you guys want to call it, so you guys could check that out on my Twitter. I'll also try to share it here for right now, so we could just go through the top 5 grades. I'll read to you the bottom 5 grades. I know people want to know, well, who didn't play well. I'm not all about putting out who didn't play well. I really just like to showcase and throw the shine onto the players that did their thing. So let's start with the offense here. Offensively, it's just going to be a good damn day for 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. Finished with a 90 grade. Overall, his run blocking grade was a 70.2. His pass grade was an 88.1. This dude played 59 total snaps, and I thought Brandon Ayuk, man, salute to the dude. Thought him and Brock Purdy were like locked and loaded, and they took advantage of a weak ass secondary. Like, right, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, take advantage of what the defense is giving you. 49ers got 2 offensive linemen this week in the top 5. You got Trent Williams with an 83.8. You got Aaron Banks with an 81.5. Both of them had pretty good pass blocking and run blocking grades. So running to the left, that's what this tells me. If you're a stats reader, it seemed like running to the left was on point. And that's why I said maybe Kyle will start paying attention a little bit more. I know he's going to watch the film or whatever or whatnot, but, running to the left means something. I mean, you could run to the right, but running to the left was pretty damn good. So they got top grades. Brock Purdy, 73.7. Brock Purdy's grade would have been higher. Unfortunately, he turned the ball over 2 times. And I'm not going to say that they're not his fault, but I feel like Brock's got to make sometimes when under pressure. This is my only issue with Brock. Sometimes under pressure, you got to make quicker reads. I think that's the logic thing. If you throw the ball away, you throw the ball away. But that explosive play, that big throw, the guy, he even came out and stated that he was locked in on Brandon Ayuk and he was trying to get the ball down the field. Brandon Ayuk was getting open, but because of the development of the play, he ends up getting his ball tipped. Both of his interceptions were tip passes too, by the way. I just want to put that out there. And they were able to capitalize off the ball hanging in the air. But that's my thing. Like, use your check down, go through your other reads, make the right throw. You can live to the next play. And I think Brock, as great as he is, he just has to start to trust that it's not always about the big play down the field. That play will come. Let me do the check down play. Let me do the safe play. Let me get the completion and allow my guy to do something with the ball and not turn it over. And I think, I'm not panicking when it comes to Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is still the man. Like, at the end of the day, he's still great out there on the football field. You saw his ability to escape. You saw his ability to make plays. He got sacked, 2 times, I believe, in this game. And it was all because he was, it wasn't the pass protection. He was trying to make a play. Like, nobody was open, and he was trying to give time to guys to get open. And in the process, he gets sacked twice, right? So Brock Purdy, 73.7. And then George Kittle, 72.4 for George Kittle. I think the drops hurt him. He had a couple of drops. One, he got crunched on that 4th and 23. Didn't expect him to catch that, but there was one he literally had in his hand, and he would have been running for the fences, and he just dropped it. That was a big drop for George Kittle. I think he had 2, maybe 3 drops in this game. But he still finished with a pretty decent grade. He was the only 49er that was able to score. Bottom 5 grades. Kyle Juszczyk would be 16th. There's only 16 grades, so he was last. Tight end, and he had a 50. Tight end Eric Saubert was 15th. He had a 50.1. Center Jake Brendo, 14th, 51.8. Wide receiver Ronnie Bell, 13th. He had a 54.2. And then wide receiver Juwan Jennings was 12th. and he had a 55.9. So those are your bottom 5 grades offensively. Defensively, top 5 is a little different. Let's get to the defensive grades real quick. So just bear with me as I scroll through my page. They should be up here. Boom. And as you can see, Nick Bosa, 87.9, got the interception. His run defense, a little suspect. His tackling, a little suspect. Dude missed a couple tackles. I don't give what you say. He missed a couple tackles, but getting that interception was huge. Getting the interception. He had 3 missed tackles recorded in this game, too, by the way. So just to put that out there. And he owned it, right? He owned it. Nick Bosa, but he finished with an 87.9. Leonard Floyd, the opposite side, 79.1, was better against the run. He was a better tackler, a better pass rusher overall. He just didn't have that, thing that made him stick out. He didn't get any sack. He did get a sack. According to PFF, it might have been a half a sack, but, whatever. Isaac Yiadom, I felt like Yiadom played a great game. It was just that one play. It was literally like one play. It was like it was a Hail Mary ball thrown in the air. And he got lost in the coverage. And I really thought Marvin Harrison Jr., who was limited all game, just made a play on the ball. Like, it's not like he got mossed. He just found the ball, made the play on the ball. So Isaac Yiadom got up there. George Odom, that's cool. I mean, he didn't play a lot of snaps, 4 snaps total. But he finished with a 74.7. And Diamador Lenore, okay? Diamador Lenore, who's been the 49ers, in my opinion, best cornerback all year, played 56 snaps. 56 snaps. He had 4 tackles in this game, 2 assisted. He did have a missed tackle. So those are your top 5 defensive PFF grades. And bottom 5 is crazy. So there's 20 players that got graded. Number 20, Talanoa Hufanga. I know he only played 11 snaps, but he finished with a 40.2 grade. Jair Brown, 19. So the safeties are an issue in coverage and in the run. They took bad angles, man. That first play was on the safeties. I can't wait to break down the film. People want to blame Devondre Campbell. No. First of all, Campbell got blocked. And second of all, everybody know he's not fast enough. So he wasn't going to make the tackle on a running back, yeah, but on a fast ass quarterback, nah, wasn't going to happen. But if you saw it the way you saw it, you saw it the way you saw it. Charvarius Ward, 18th, 42.9, not a good game. 55 snaps from him. Khalil Davis, 17th, 46.5. He played 19 total snaps in this game. And Kevin Givens, who I thought would have had a better game, was a non-factor because and he finished 16th. He was a non-factor with a 50 grade because they took advantage of the interior of this game. They took advantage of the 49ers run defense. That's what happened. If you're not seeing these defensive tackles being pushed up, it's because they got gashed in the run. And I can't blame. I see my man Cook Sports say that's the coordinator's fault. Not necessarily. Not all the coordinator fault. Not all of it. Some of it is just the ability of the players, and they just can't do certain things. So, as a coordinator, as a coach, you gotta work with what you got. And so, like, yeah, if you're gonna call this play, you're hoping that everything works out in the way you got it planned in your head. I think it really does come down to players just not being able to execute or players just not executing. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. The Niners, they didn't play well enough to win. They played well, but not well enough to win. And that's what happened, with this 12 missed tackles in this game. 12 missed tackles in this game. Offensively, if you want to know, they gave the 49ers offensive players gave up 13 pressures. None of the sacks, though, were on the offense. As far as the players, the sacks were on the quarterback. He was trying to scramble. He was trying to make a play. So that's good. So 13 pressures, no sacks. It's not a bad day from the offensive line. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. It's just whatever you want. I thought whatever it is, you know. So look, they got to be a lot better. Now, I want to get some thoughts from you guys out there, man. My question to you is, if you're gonna call in, all right. My question to you, if you use the call in feature, and shout out to everybody again that's still watching the show, that's watching the show live. I'm gonna post it in there. Here's my question: What do the 49ers? What do the 49ers must do to get over this loss? And I know it's I know they have to win. Like that's simple. But what must they do to get over this loss? So I want to hear from you. What must the 49ers do to get over? And I know it's simple. The answer is win. But how? So make sure you're very, detailed or descriptive on how, because we got another divisional rival. And I think I'm at the point it don't matter how many times you beat a team. It's about the team that's placed right in front of you to get over the loss to the Cardinals. All right, so that's going to be the question. I'll make sure it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen to prompt you. Here comes the invite. All right, so feel free, man. Make your takes 2 minutes, please. I ain't got time to be listening to 5-minute takes. If you call in, 2 minutes. Got a few minutes left on the show. So let me know what you guys think. All right. Look, I mean, for me, just my quick take on everything. I mean, the Niners, they got to find a way to be more disciplined out there on the football field. They get too many silly penalties, and they were already playing against a team that doesn't get penalized much. And so I just feel like the Niners, they got to be better in executing, and they got to be a little bit more disciplined out there on the football field. They do, they really do. They can't get to the red zone and then get a penalty and get pushed further away from the end zone. Like that's not how it works. So they got to figure out how to overcome those challenges. They were they only had 4 penalties in this game. The Niners only had 4 penalties that counted, right? But the crazy thing is, they found a way to get over those penalties when they weren't in the red zone. It was only when they got to the red zone is where they couldn't overcome it. They didn't have enough space. All the other penalties, Brock was finding a way to get it out. Like Brock was making it up. It's like, oh, we lost 5 yards. No worry, I'll get it back on the next throw. You know what I mean? I see my man. I think Cook is in here. Cook, you ready? Yeah, I don't see you, but I'm sure I can hear you. So I'm gonna bring you on the show real quick. Cook, what's going on, bro?
Yo, what's good? What's good, Breezy?
Hey man, just
Man,
chill. Just chilling, just trying to be here for the people. Because we all witness what we witness.
yeah, man. It's just, man. I feel like it's a little like I think everybody kind of you hit on the nail. Like it's a little bit of everything, man. Just not finishing games, losing. Moody too. Like who could have expected that? Even he would have hit that long kick. Maybe we would have been up enough and been able to hold him or something. Anything. Even with the Rams game, and kind of like how we lost that game to like just barely losing games. You know what I'm saying? It's just you know, I like I was talking about the coordinator. Really like Sorensen, like he a secondary guy, like under Wilkes. Like I was saying with Mooney Ward, he had an All Pro season. He was shadowing the best receiver. Like I feel like even with Bosa even said it himself. Bosa even spoke up after the game. So even the players are starting to say something. So I think everybody kind of has a idea, but it can be anything. We gotta take a game at a time. The good thing is the NFC West is trash. So if we beat Seattle, we still can win the division and make it to the playoffs. So I
That's the
guess that's
bright
the good
side.
thing.
That's the
That's the
bright
bright
side.
side.
That's the bright side. That's funny because I was saying that. I was like, well, you know, this team lost and this team lost. So luckily, like you know what I'm saying, we still have a spot here. We just gotta find a way to win a grit game. I feel like if the Niners can find trust me, I don't want them to be in gritty games. I don't want games coming down to field goals, like things like that. I want the Niners to find a way to be dominant again. But I think in order for them to be pure dominant, they got to figure out how to win games when stuff just don't go their way. And you hit the nail on the head when you said ain't nobody, not the Cardinals, not anybody thought you would lose a kicker during the game. Like before a game, after a game, but during a game, that's crazy. And so to make that adjustment, that might have been the hardest adjustment we've had to actually witness because now you have to be offensive minded. You have to, you can't, you know, you gotta score because
Right.
if you don't have a don't you remember when we had Mitch Wisnowski attempting field goals and he was just off? He couldn't make
Right.
one.
Hell yeah.
And so I think they knew like, all right, we got to get the ball to a certain point to even attempt the field goal. I think that's what it was.
Right. And we just, it was just all that. I hope we get a kicker. It's gonna be a short week, man. But these Thursday nights game, anything can happen, man. Purdy, he plays Seattle really well, so
Does that's true.
I think he gonna have a good bounce back game, man.
I,
It's gonna be a tight one, of course. I feel like it's a division game, but
for
it's a
sure.
short week, so you
Hey
know.
man, I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate you for being here for all these years. I feel like it's been like 4 or 5 years, and you just been with you. You've been repping the Niners. You've been supporting myself and the crew, and I appreciate you, bro,
No problem, man. I appreciate you too, man. You already know we got to stick together, man.
for
Keep
sure.
faithful. You already know, 100. I'll hit you. I'll see. Next show,
All right,
I'll come
bro.
through. What's
Appreciate
that?
you. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cooks hit the nail on the head. Like it's just figuring out the next team up. We just got to take whatever. That's who we need to focus on. Like that's how you get over it. Like you just focus on the next team. You play it one game at a time. I see my man Boat says kickers matter too. They damn sure do, bro. Because like I don't think people. I bet you everybody was praying for Jake Moody. Like it's crazy how much criticism this kid has taken in a year and a quarter of football, right? Because I only played a quarter of the year. And now y'all realize how much he was needed last night. It's crazy. Super crazy. Um, but that's gotta be it, right? Like that's how they figure out. Like they got the Seahawks. One of the bright sides is that the NFC is just not great. There's one dominant team, and we lost to them already. Right? That team is 5-0. One. And they beat us. And I don't even think that they should have beaten us. I feel like you brain fart defensively. You have a miscommunication. You give up an explosive play. Notice how these games we've lost is because the defense has given up explosive plays. You don't believe me? Check this out. I got you. Minnesota Vikings game, 97-yard touchdown to I don't know why I want to call Justin Jefferson Randy Moss, but I don't know why. Like he's giving me that vibe. All right, so so Justin Jefferson, 97-yard touchdown, boom, explosive play. Right. Let's go to the next loss. Arizona. I mean not Arizona. St. Louis, Los Angeles Rams. What happened? Travarius Mooney Ward gets burnt on a 50-yard play. And next thing you know, boom, here come the Rams. Explosive play. What happens in this game? Oh, I know. In the very beginning of the game, they give up an explosive 50-yard run like they just didn't think they were prepared for. And even though they overcame it and they had help, it wasn't enough. So the Niners, to me, it just seems like their MO is they got to figure out how to not give up these explosive plays because it changes their energy. It does. For some reason, even though they recouped from that run, they didn't allow Kyler Murray to go off. What happened to the Niners later on in the game? They couldn't stop the run. So that one explosive run set the Cardinals up to run later. That's so crazy. So crazy. Like I never thought like wow. So crazy. Appreciate you, Paul. What's going on, bro? Love you, man. Love you, bro. Um, let's get Bolts on here. Bolts, what's going on, baby?
Oh, how's everybody doing this morning? I know a little sad from the loss.
Yeah, it's just a little rough, man. That's why we here, man. It's a little rough.
It's going to get better. We've been here before. I know these 3 losses seem rough. They seem the end of the world. But man, if you've been a Niners fan for years now, sometimes we start slow and we rebound in the middle and the back half of the season once we get things going. It's not the first time we've been discombobulated in the beginning of the season or start off slow due to injuries and contract negotiations and all that. So just keep the faith. I mean, I know things look horrible, but we'll get better. I mean, Thursday, there's no excuses Thursday. I mean, everything goes out the window. You win, okay, we're back on track. You lose, hey man, maybe you need to start letting some people go at week 8, start getting some draft picks to rebuild this team for Purdy in the offseason. Move on some of these players like Juice, a little overpaid, don't really bring a whole lot to the game. So I'm not tripping too much about it. Brock's looking great. That's the biggest thing to me, because that's long term right there. He got one bad season, but if he needs one bad season to figure out when he can force the ball, when he can take off and run, when he can hold it back, and that gives us 5-6 years of high-level QB performance, getting us into the playoffs, I'll take the trade-off. I understand football is a fickle bitch. I mean, she'll love you one year and then shit on you the next year, and we've seen that. More heartbreaking is being like the Eagles. You're up 11 games, you lose a whole bunch of games, and you don't even make it in. So I'm okay with this slow start, but yeah, the time's running out. There's only so much fuse to be lit. And they're playing with fire. I mean, they keep giving up these easy wins. It's, we got Kansas City coming up, which, I mean, I think we're all going to look at that as an L until we see something else. Cowboys is playing a 50-50 game right now. So then we got the Bills coming. I mean, it's not like we're going to get easier with this, but I don't know. Maybe this year's Niners team is one of those teams that takes bad teams lightly and then plays top level against the great teams, when the level of competition steps up. Being in the playoffs as many years as we have, at some point we knew we were going to take a downturn. So this may be the year, but I think we'll be fine. Like the other caller said, division's trash. We can still make the wild card. And that's the biggest thing. It's just making the playoffs. And then you don't know what happens in those 3 or 4 games. Teams get lucky like the Eli Manning New York Giants. And next thing you know, you're hoisting the Lombardi trophy. That's why we love football, right? Because it's so unpredictable. That's why we watch the Madden Sims. They're unpredictable. But yeah, just, I'm just looking at this as, the offseason was rough on us. Ain't nobody going to say anything different. We knew the team wasn't going to be fully gelling week 1. And I think we're still working out those kinks. And I think because of that loss last year in the Super Bowl, guys may have been pressing too much this year. CMC working out almost every day in the offseason. I'm giving him dual tendonitis because he's so hungry to get back to the bowl. And guys are just kind of not playing relaxed. You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst thing you can do is not play relaxed too. You start playing and thinking too much and pushing things. Like, come on, Bosa, you're killing me with not picking up the read option. I seen the little angry toddler run 50 yards on us in the first quarter for a touchdown off of a simple read option. I mean, I thought we moved past the Kaepernick years where teams could run a read option and get 200 yards running because nobody figured the quarterback could run. Like, we've seen this. So why is that guy still getting burnt on read options? I get it. He's aggressive and he wants to make the sack and all that. I get it. But your job is not to sack the quarterback every play. It's to make the offense have a negative play every play. That's the difference. The sacks are just one way of accomplishing that. But a 3-yard loss is the same as a 3-yard sack. So we got to stop, trying to, I think, do too much, and just guys got to relax and say, hey, it's a long season, but every game, like I said last time, every game matters, and I mean, I'll be honest, man, you lose your kicker. Come on, I'm not going to put that on the coaching staff. There's other things I could put on to them, the players, but losing the kicker, you lose one whole phase of football. Football is 3 phases, and you lost an entire phase, and you're supposed to still win the game against, as much as we want to say NFL teams suck, it's still a very small difference between a good team and a bad team in the NFL because of parity. So when you only have offense and defense and half your special teams, there's not a whole lot of teams, not even, the great teams can win games like that. So, you just take that with a grain of salt because, who would have seen that one coming? But the missed tackles, that has to get cleaned up. And Fred talked about that 2 weeks ago, even himself. Fred's been missing tackles and stuff. Same thing, trying to make the big play, trying to force plays to happen instead of just taking what the offense gives you and making the play right in front of you. So it looks bad, but hey, keep the faith. That's why we're the faithful. Kyle's and John's leadership have gotten us to where we're at today, so don't bail on them yet. I know it's easy to blame them for everything under the sun, but they're only one human being. There's 50 other three human beings and the coaching staff. So they still got to show up and do their thing. Kyle can do whatever he wants, but if them other guys don't show up, then Kyle can't do nothing. And so I think just keep the faith, try to enjoy Monday, realize we got Thursday coming up and on to more football. And I think Thursday will really be a much more of a indicator where we're at as a team. If this team doesn't have the heart, then we'll know it Thursday. If this is not our season, everybody's tired, everybody's old, whatever the excuses may be, we'll find out Thursday. But if they come out pissed off and angry Thursday, and we can win by 10 points or something like that, we're all going to feel renewed. We're all going to feel like, okay, we're back on track. We're still running for first place in the division early in October. We still got the whole season ahead of us. So no reason to freak out, no reason to jump off the ship just yet, and just realize that, this is why we appreciate the Super Bowl years, even when we don't win them, because winning in football is hard. Winning NFL games is hard. It's easiest for us fans to take that for granted, but man, it's hard. Look at the Lions. They ain't having a great season they thought they were going to either. I mean, look at some of these other teams, the Bengals. Everybody's talking about Super Bowl for them. There they are, 1-4. Hey, we're better than the Bengals. So if nothing else, take that away. We're better than the Bengals, and they're supposed to be a Super Bowl team. So just appreciate those Super Bowl years. Appreciate the pro seasons when we make them, because, man, it's not guaranteed to be every year.
Boats, I love you, man. I do. Like that was spot on. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Everybody have a great morning, and let's just keep it happy and let's keep talking ball.
Yes, do it, man. Happy anniversary to you too.
All right, thanks, Breezy. Tell Miss Breezy we all say hi in the chat, and Mama Breezy we all say hi in the chat too.
Will do, brother.
All righty, man.
Peace. Whew. Well, I sometimes I just feel like I need to hear certain things so that I know I'm not going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Doesn't mean we're right. It's just we're 2-3. I think when it comes to the 49ers fans, I think our expectations are being shot. Well, it's okay to rip up those expectations, ball them out after you get some proof, and write new ones. And so, like, for me, I'm just like, all right, well, let's beat Seahawks. That's the only thing I'm expecting them to do. I don't care about the Chiefs. I don't care about the Cowboys. I don't care about any. I care about this team that they got to prepare for and that they got to figure out a way to win. And I don't care if they win by 1 point. I don't care if they win by 3. I don't care if they win by 17. They just got to get a win. They got to get a win because now they need to win in their division. They can't go 0-3 in the division. And I think 4-2 still gets you that crown because the division isn't as strong. We're just losing to a couple teams. It's funny. I predicted us to lose to the Rams and the Cardinals this year. Go check my predictions. I promise you, it was on the show. I said we'll go 4-2 in the division. Now I'm expecting the Niners to come out and beat the Seahawks and sweep them. I'm expecting the Niners to come out and win the other games against the other two. But the Niners just gotta. It's identity. It's heart. It's a bunch of stuff. And I know these guys play football, and I'm not questioning like their manhood and stuff like that as far as like how much heart they got. But you can tell when the body language is off. You can tell when the energy is shifted. You can tell when it's off. Not every player does that, but you can tell. You could just feel it. And you can tell that the Niners were going to lose that game. You felt it. You didn't want to say it. You didn't want to say it. You didn't want to be the person to say it. But you felt it. You felt the shift. And it was just like, uh-oh. And it's like, oh, here's the clock. It's 6 minutes. We just got to hold on to this ball. Boom, fumble. Come on. You can't make this stuff up. Like, you literally can't. You can't make it up. Now, we know Jordan Mason had struggled with the fumbles the prior week. The fumbles weren't on him. Apparently, they were pass plays, and they were kind of on the quarterback. So he didn't get the fumbles accounted to him. But at the end of the day, that one play, he coughed up the ball. And who knows what the Niners would have been able to do? Would they have been able to score? We don't know. But we can't fumble the rock right there and expect things to go in our favor. Unfortunately, that time we couldn't recover the ball. At that time, like, we couldn't recover the ball. So look, the Niners, in my opinion, need to shift gears. and they need to focus on beating the team right in front of them, right? They beat the team in front of them. They should be good to go. Next team up, next team up is the Seattle Seahawks. Tonight, nitty gritty Niners talk, I believe 9 p.m. Eastern time. Might be a little bit early, so that's why I say keep your alerts on. All right. We are going to start shifting gears and we're going to get into a little bit of Seattle Seahawks talk. All right. So we're going to do that. We got to start preparing for them. It's a short week. You guys have been amazing. Again, you could be angry, you could be mad, you could blame whoever you want. It's your prerogative. Dum, 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 dum. Have some fun. Get over it. It's going to be over with soon, I promise. Niners will get back into the winning category, and then that will solve some things. And then we could start thinking a little bit differently about the San Francisco 49ers, right? So let's let them get back into a win. The good news is they're not playing a quarterback that's going to run a 50-yard read option. Ha! 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 You heard me? Now listen, that don't mean Geno Smith ain't gonna try to run because he's gonna be running for his life. But my point is, you could take that play out the book. That play ain't in the book. They won't even attempt to put that play in the book. So look at it from the bright side. The Niners are gonna come out and play a team that they're very familiar with. Their team is a little different. They got a different coach-minded team in Mike McDonald. They're going to be super based on defense. They're struggling with defense right now because a lot of their players are hurt. Don't care who comes back and who plays. The Niners just need to show the fuck up. And when they show up, they need to show out. If they show out, they get the dub. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those defensive games where they only give up 9 points. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's win Thursday, like my man Faisal says in the chat. Bro, I miss you. I got to get out to a game so we can do our halftime meetup. Hello, hug, all that good stuff. I got to get out there. I was trying to save my time for the playoffs and save up the money to come out for the playoffs, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, Niners, get back into that winning category for sure. I believe they're going to do it this week. I believe it. I can feel it. I receive it. I need you to receive it. Like Boat said, though, keep faith, man. You got to keep the faith in this team. These players are out there giving it their all, and we just got to keep the faith in them. They will get back into full swing. Once the Niners get back into rhythm, it's a wrap. That I can promise you. Love y'all. Stay faithful always. And I mean always, y'all. Keep it faithful to the Bay. We out this joint.